Close the doors of your mind from all carnal will, all carnal thought, all emotions, all desires, all fears, all laziness, all doubt, all envy, all strife, all complaint, all criticism, all pride, all hatred. And bring your mind to balance within your 12 cranial nerves, within your hypothalamus, within your hands and your feet that control the rest of your body, within your 12 melanin centers. Close the doors of your mind from the lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. For today is a day of freedom. Today is a day of warning. Today is a day that Yahuwah has given to us as a gift, as a gift to both the ungrateful and the grateful. Why? We are undeserving. Every human being on the earth is undeserving of any type of favor, any type of love and compassion. We are undeserving. We should all not be here on earth, but it's by Yahuwah who sits in the highest Shamayim and his Ben Yahusha who sits at his right hand to help govern the Shabai Shamayim, the seven heavens, the seven Shamayim, that he allows us to live and to breathe and have a binakut mada'af, not only for the humans, but also for the animals and the creatures of the sea and all the creeping things and over the behemoth and over all the birds of the air. Even all of the eagles and the 4 or 5 different types of eagles and all the different types of beings and the crane birds throughout the earth. Yahuwah Allahim. So this Yom, we acknowledge the one who made all the heart of the earth, all in the heart of the earth, all of the mountains and streams and rivers of this earth, in the center of the earth, and all the waterfalls in the center of the earth, and the underground rivers, and the surface level rivers, and all of the tears that flow down from his clouds that he pours down on us because of the wickedness of man. So as we move forward, we will not move forward in what was behind, we move forward in what's before us. For we forget those things which are behind, and we press forward towards the high calling, towards the higher calling. And that higher calling is to ride upon the wings of the wind, upon your own thoughts and your own mind and your own way of thinking, and to be a ride upon and put Satan all and Satan within you, under your feet, and destroy him within yourself, and all his demons within inside of you. For that is the purpose, and that should be, for one, to be tahor, to be clean within oneself. So this Yom, we're going to, as we move forward, we remember the exhortation of Yahuwah within ourselves. Right, so this is 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 11. Now these things happened to them as an example, but they were written down for our instructions, for our, Torah, for our instructions, our way of life, our light. For what? Of whom the end of the ages has come, is coming. All these things that you've seen happen in those times past, and all the evil is coming, and the end of it is coming. Verse 12 says, therefore let anyone who thinks that he stands take heed lest he fall. Just like Yehuda said, I thought I was invincible. But he said, make sure you take heed, because you think you're invincible, you think you can't fall, you think nothing can happen to you, you think everything's okay. He said, lest you fall. Why? It says, no temptation has overtaken you that is not common to human beings, man, woman, or child. So everybody has temptations. Whether it's slander, hatred, jealousy, envy, fornication, adultery, whether it's evil, stealing, lying, whether it's quarreling and fighting, hatred and envy. All these are all what? Temptations. Things that one can get themselves entangled in and or escalate and allow to grow. Everybody has temptations, but guess what it says? Elohim is faithful. What does he mean, faithful? He's consistent. Yahuwah is consistent, and he will not let you be tempted beyond your ability. So whatever your ability is, your cognitive higher consciousness, whatever your ability is, but with the temptation, he will also provide a way to escape. He always going to provide a way to escape. He provided a way for us to escape, that you may be able to endure it. How are you going to endure it? How are you going to endure it? How are you going to endure it? This is Yeshayahu chapter 32. Yeshayahu chapter 32. How are you going to endure it? Yeshayahu chapter 32. It says, behold, 32 verse 1. Isaiah 32 verse 1. Behold, a malak will reign in righteousness. He said a malak, a king. He going to reign in righteousness. Right? Because you know what he said, well, you know when he going to reign in righteousness, that means that king, that malak is going to have to be just. Right? But it says, and princes will rule in justice, right? Because that's proper judgment, right? Those are people that are under this king going to have what? Proper judgment. So you people saying, I believe in Yahushua Mashiach. I believe in in his name. I believe in his testimony. And this king, rules over you, right? Which means that you need to have proper judgment within yourself when he speaks. Justice. Or you be, and he said, doing an injustice to yourself. Verse 2 says, each will be like a hiding place from the wind, He said, it's going to be like a hiding place from the wind, a shelter from the storm. It's going to be what? It's a place to escape. He's going to be a place to escape, that you may endure it. Right? When you see a storm come, when it's raging and it's raining in your raining, or you've ever been in a hurricane or tempest, right? The wind howls, it runs, it moves. It can throw things around. It can cause things and cause chaos. But he said, I always give you something where you can get up under, so you ain't got to be in the middle of the storm, right? But it says right here, a shelter. Get what it says? Each will be like a hiding place in the wind. So each one of these princes and all these people that are under him are going to be like a hiding place in the wind, a shelter from the storm, like streams of water in a dry place. And people's like, I don't need nobody. I can do it all by myself. I know everything. I've already arrived. Yahuwah is talking to me. Mashiach is talking to me. No, he says what? They should be like what? Like a shelter in the time of storm, like streams of water in a dry place. It's like streams of water in a dry place. So you have a bunch of people, he said, like streams of water in a dry place, and it's real dry, and he said, I want to go where it's dry. Then guess what? You're going to die. He said, like streams of water in what? A dry place, like the shade of a great rock in a weary land. You ever been in the sun? Well, we just passed the longest day on the summer solstice, on the 7 celestial circles. And guess what happens? It's hot. You're going to need a rock to hide up under. He said, you're going to need a rock to what? To get some shade, because it's hot. Matter of fact, you're going to need some water from a stream that's going to allow you to survive. Why? Because you don't have it, you're going to die. Right? He said, but he leaves a way for you to escape. He said, but with the temptation, I'm going to leave somewhere you can escape to. Something you can hide up under. Something you can be up under, right? So this is the book of Yeshayahu 55. Yeshayahu 55. Yeshayahu 55. Yeshayahu 55 and 1. Yeshayahu 55 and 1 says, come, everyone who thirsts. So he's like, come, everyone who thirsted. Why? Because you will be like a streams of water. It's going to be like a king shall reign in righteousness, and the princess will be like a hiding place in the wind. He's saying what? And they're going to pour out streams of water. But he said, come, everyone who thirsts. Come to the waters, he who has no money, which you don't even got to pay for this. This is free. He said, you ain't got to have no money for this. Come, buy and eat. You know, people go to the store, they get a bag of groceries, they get water, they get food, they get all these things, they prepare for the Shabbat. They do all these things. And Ayub said, I put Yahuwah's word before my necessary food. He said, I put the word before our necessary food. I'd rather be taught streams of water than to eat food. Right? But it says, and he who has no money, come, buy and eat. Come, buy wine and milk without money and without price. Why do you spend your money for that which is not bread? And you labor for that which does not satisfy? All these things that people do, it don't even satisfy. It's not even going to give them any type of peace, any type of shalom within themselves. He said, I'm going to leave a way to escape. He said, no temptation is common unto man, which everybody can escape. I'll leave a way for you to get out of it. I'll give you the bar. I'll give you the word. And it says, and labor for that which is not satisfied. Listen diligently to me and eat what is good. He said, eat it. And delight yourself in rich food. Incline your ear and come to me. Hear that your soul may live. Just like the book of Ayub, chapter 12 says, does not the ear taste the word as the mouth does the food? He said, taste it. Incline your ear and come to me. Hear that your soul may live. And I will make you an everlasting berith, a covenant. I'm going to make you a covenant. If you listen to me, my steadfast, sure love of Dawood. He said, I'm going to make you a covenant of love. I'm going to make you a covenant of Ahab. Behold the strength of the house. Ahab. Aleph Ha Bayit. I'm going to make you, behold the strength of the house. I'm going to make you a covenant of love. If there is no love in the house, in your body, in your heart, in your mind for your fellow man, your neighbor, people that's next to you, there's no love in your heart, there's no way anybody can make a covenant with you. You have to listen in order for a covenant to be made with you. People don't want a covenant made, but they want a covenant with Satan. They want a covenant with Satan. They have a relationship with him. And that relationship with him is dry. It's only false promises. It's only temporary promises. That's all it is. And I will make you an everlasting covenant with my steadfast sure love of Daud. Behold, I make him as a witness to the peoples, a leader and commander of the peoples. Right? All this is a part of it. Right? Skipping down to verse 10. Skipping on to verse 9. 55. Yeshayahu 55 and 9. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways. So Yahuwah is higher than pride, jealousy, and envy. He's higher than hatred. I sit higher than arrogance and pride and tafukah. I sit higher than that. He says, for as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. So your thoughts, your makashaba, your thoughts, your yetzer. He said, my thoughts are higher than your thoughts. My ways are higher than your ways. He said, I ride upon the wings of the wind. I'm in the highest shamayim. And that's where your thoughts and your mind and your thoughts should be. But for man, woman, and child in the earth, it's difficult. So many distractions, television, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, so many different teachers online, so many people they can entangle themselves in, so many different doctrines, so many different people, so many different religions, so many different things they can indulge in and engulf their mind and saturate their mind with inner being teachings, inner thought teachers, male and female. All be corrupted with all the seeds that people have sown inside of people's mind. People can get so entangled. And they forget about the one who sits in the highest shamayim. They totally forget about it. In the morning time, evening time, and noon, they forget about it. Right? Verse 10 says, he said, my thoughts are higher than your thoughts. Let me show you how high are his thoughts. Verse 10 says, for as rain and snow come down from the shamayims, and do not return there but water the earth, making you bring forth sprout and giving seed to the sower and bread to the eater, so shall the bar be that goes out of my mouth. It's just like a flowing stream. And he said, a king shall reign in righteousness, and a river shall flow out of his mouth. And princes are going to be like the hiding place of men. Rulers, how you say nagi, nasi, how you say rulers are going to be what? Like a hiding place in the wind. Masters will be like a hiding place in the wind. And it says, but do not, it says right here, verse 11 says, so shall the bar be that goes out of my mouth. It shall not return to me empty, but it shall accomplish what I purpose. How you say, Selah. Right? And it shall not return to me empty, but it shall accomplish what I purpose and shall succeed in the thing for which I shelah, for which I sent it. It's going to accomplish that. He said a man going to be high like a high place from the wind. He said a king going to be reigning in righteousness, and he going to be like a high place from the wind. He going to be, man, he's just like that. All that's important. All of that's important. Right? So this is the book of let's see where we're going. Yeah, so this is the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 1. Verse 5, verse 1. It says, seeing the crowds, he went up on the mountain, on Nahar, right? And he says, and when he sat down, his disciples, his scholars, came to him. So when he started teaching, his scholars come. If you're a scholar, if you're a Talmud, you're a scholar, you're going to come to a teacher. You're going to come to his teaching. What are they going to say? And he opened his mouth and he taught them. Which means just like the bar, rain and snow come down from Charmaine, so did the bar be that go out of his mouth. He said, a king shall reign in his righteousness, and princes shall be like a hiding place in the wind. Just like a tree bearing 12 minutes of fruit. They're gonna be, he said, be just like a hiding place in the wind. It'd be like a cave. And he opened his mouth and taught them, say, Barak are the poor in Ruach. Why? Because he said, come unto me, all that are thirsty. He said, you ain't got to pay no money. Because people that are poor inwardly, but rich on the outward man, see the value of an inward immortality. It says, Barak are the poor in Ruach, for theirs is the kingdom of Shamal Kuth Shamayim. Some people are not poor on the inside. They got a full cup. They be like, I know everything. I already knew this already. I knew that already. I read this already. I did this already. I did this already. And guess what? They can't even get their cup full because they think they know it all. They think they full of the Ruach. But they're not. And it says right here, Barak are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Barak are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth, right? Verse 6 says, Barak are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. He said, come unto me and drink. You ain't even got to pay for it. You don't even have to pay. It's free. Water comes down from Shamayim for free. The bar is given to you for free. You don't even have to pay for it. All you have to do is come and listen and taste it. Just like the mouth tastes the food and drink. That's it. It says, Barak are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they shall be satisfied. Righteousness. And this will be our righteousness if we keep all his commands. You get what it says? For they shall be satisfied. What do you mean satisfied? You telling me this should satisfy you. You know how people say, I'm never satisfied. You know how you can't ever please a person or a woman? Right? A woman never satisfied. He said they always got to create things to get what? To get more. Or to get some type of control. Or to rule a household. Or to rule over a man. Or to rule something. A man, you see a person, a man who always got to what? They are never satisfied. They got to always get more money. I need money. I need more. I need more. I need more. I need more. Right? They're never satisfied. He said this should satisfy you. So if you don't have any of these things, this should satisfy you. But if it doesn't, something is wrong with you. I'm sorry to tell you that, but something is wrong with you on the inside of your heart, in your mind, in your inner man, in your inner being. And we're going to talk about some of it. It said, Barak are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy. Barak are the pure in heart, for they shall see Elohim. That's all it's about. It's about staying pure-hearted. So we can see our father and mother in the highest Shamayim. That's the whole point of all of this. It's only for us to be pure-hearted. Because if we're not pure-hearted, if we're not pure-hearted in our heart and our mind continually, if we're not pure-hearted in our thoughts and our mind continually, then guess what happened? We're in trouble. We are in some serious trouble. Right? So this is the book of the book of Psalms chapter 10, Tahalim chapter 10, verse 1. Psalms Tahalim chapter 10, verse 1. It says, why, O Yahuwah, do you stand far away? He's like, why are you standing far away? And it says, why do you hide yourself in times of trouble? He said, why you hide yourself in the times of trouble? Didn't Yahuwah say, he said, you're gonna be like a hiding place in the wind? He's like, man, you see all that storm, you see that? In times of trouble, even Yahuwah hides himself. Why you hide yourself in times of trouble? Because that's what you're supposed to do. When you see everything around you, in your life, in your household, in your family, in your relationships, in your finances, in your love, in your compassion, in your humility, in your meekness, in your temperance, in your pride, and the things that you're supposed to have, not have, and not have within yourself, you see things going out of haywire. You need to hide yourself. It's a time of trouble for you. You need to hide yourself under the bar, under the what? Under say a hiding place from the wind. You need to hide yourself. Right, and it says right here, in arrogance, the wicked hotly pursue the poor. That's what they do. Barak are the poor in Ruach. They hotly pursue the poor in Ruach. That's what wicked people do. I'm a poor man. I'm poor in Ruach. I need Yahuwah to teach me. I need Yahuwah by his Ruach to teach me, which means I gotta let go. That's the only way he's gonna be able to teach me with them. And it says, let them be caught in their schemes that they have devised. Because a lot of people devise schemes to catch a person who's poor in Ruach, who seeks after righteousness with all his being. They try to devise schemes to entangle people to do what? To entangle them in their world of control, in their world of trouble. And guess what? They're all schemes they have devised. For the wicked boast of the desires of his soul. That's all they do. They boast of the desires of their soul. What do you mean the desires of their soul? And one, greedy of gain, curses and renounces Yahuwah. He's greedy of gain. Greedy of gain. It's greedy of gain to what? Hunger and thirst after righteousness? Greedy of gain to hunger and thirst after the bar? Greedy of gain? No. Greedy of gain is hunger and thirst after all these material possessions, all these things that you have in this world, and you empty on the inside. You chase after everything you have. I want this, I want that. I want $50 million. I want this, I want that. I want this. I want this for myself. I want that for myself. I want $100 million. I want $100,000. I want $200 million. I want all these things. Million currency. All around the world. And you empty on the inside. So what profit is it? You gain the whole Aydahchay, the whole world, and even the land itself, or all these things, and you lose your soul. You lose your nefesh. You lose control, basically. You lose control. You lose control. It says, for the wicked boasts of the desires of his soul, and one greedy of gain curses and renounces Yahuwah. They rage against the truth. They rage against Yahuwah. In pride of his face, the wicked does not seek him. They don't even seek him. They don't even seek him out. They say they don't even seek him out. The Rosh, they don't even seek him out. They don't even seek him out completely with prayer, meditation, and reading. But they think reading gonna save them. They don't seek out the teachings of it. When somebody actually says it out of their mouth, like Adam, he gave Adam a speaking ruach in the Aramaic Targums, Bereshit chapter 2. He gave him a speaking ruach to give hearing to the ears and sight to the eyes. They don't want to hear that truth. They want the truth that keeps them in darkness, that don't convict them. The truth that keeps them in a comfortable state. But let's keep going. It says, in the pride of his face, the wicked does not seek him. All his thoughts, all his makashaba, because Yahuwah said, my thoughts are not your thoughts, my ways are not your ways. All his thoughts there is no Elohim. That's what it's basically, all his thoughts is. All his thoughts are, there is no Elohim. Yahuwah is not in all his thoughts. And guess what it says? His way prospers at all times. He said, man, it prospers all times. But they doing everything in pride and arrogance. And to come out, man, they harvest they prosper. Their crops are prospering. Their wallets are getting prosper. They're able to buy their own clothes, wear their own shoes, do their own thing. They prospering, right? They control and they devising schemes to get things, to get what they want. And guess what happens? And it says, there is no Elohim. His way prospers at all times. Your judgments, get what it says. His ways prosper at all times. Your judgments are on high out of his sight. That's all he thinks about. All his thoughts is, there is no Elohim Yahuwah. His ways prosper at all times. This is one of his thoughts. Your judgments are on high out of his sight. Like Yahuwah don't see him. At him or her or a child. As for all his foes, he puffs at them. How you say? He puffs at them. How you say? It's called arrogance. It's called rebellion. It's called pride. Because knowledge puffeth up, but love, charity, edify. But guess what it says? He says in his heart, I shall not be moved. That's what people do. They create a whole situation, and then they be like, I'm not moving from what I said. I'm not going to be moved. That's pride. How you say? I'm not going to be moved. You ain't going to stop me. I'm right. And if you don't do what I say, guess what? I'm not going to be moved from it. In their mind, they're thinking they're right. Even though they lost control of their whole body. And guess what it says? Throughout all generations, I shall not meet adversity. They feel like look at me. I'm greater than every person. I'm never going to meet adversity because everything I do, it works. It all functions properly, and I'm never going to be moved from it. But it says, his mouth is filled with cursing and deceit and oppression. Under his or her tongue are mischief of iniquity. Under his or her tongue are mischief of iniquity. Mischief of iniquity, right? So this is Psalms 56 and 5. Psalms Tahalim 56 and 5. Psalms 56 and 5. It says, be gracious to me, O Yahuwah, for man or woman tramples on me. Like you see this world is being ran by wicked men and women. And now they put the women over the men. They're superheroes. Their television shows are all women saving the world. All about women saving the day and rescuing and prospering and doing all this thing. They put the man as a feminine. They put the man as a coward. They put the man to hide. And then she rises up as she's taking control and she has all this power. Right? It says right here, be gracious to me. They trample on me. They put you at the bottom of their feet. They trample all over me. They stomp all over my head. And guess what it says? all day long, an attacker oppresses me all day. They oppress you all the time. You do everything you're supposed to do. Man, they oppress you every single day by not doing what they're supposed to do. That's from the high up even to the households. Man does everything he's supposed to do, but guess what? They oppress you by not doing what they're supposed to do. And it becomes oppressive to you. It becomes weighty. And guess what? My enemies trample on me all day long, for they attack me proudly. Huh? That's all they do, proudly. They see things that's happening, they proudly attack you. All the time. And it says, when I am afraid, I put my trust in you. Man, you're afraid. But you're thinking about this world today. In some countries, like a man in his house, he can't even be one. They call the police on you. They throw you in jail. They put you in. They give you false accusations. You're going to go, man, it'd be so many things. You be, man, I'm afraid. I'm afraid of the slander of the city. Right? He said, I'm afraid. Afraid of what? I put my trust in you. He said, I put my trust in you in these situations. When trouble is all around me, when the temptation comes, he leave a way for me to escape. When all these things happen in my life, he left a way for me to escape. And I run as fast as I possibly can to him. In the highest Shamayim, I hide up under him. And the king, and the malak, and the princes, and the debar, the 12 shalakim, and the debar. And I hide up under him. Why? Because I know he'll prevail you. And it says, when I'm afraid, I put my trust in you. In Yahuwah, whose word I pray. In Yahuwah, whose word I praise. In Elohim, whose word. Here's the bar I praise. I hide up under the word. I put my trust in him and I hide up under that word. The bar. In Yahuwah I trust. I don't trust. He said, in Yahuwah I trust. I shall not be afraid what my flesh can do to me. That's why you think Adam said, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, he shall be called a child. I will not fear what my flesh can do to me. Why do you think Yahushua said, your enemies will be there in your own household? And he wasn't just talking about a man. He was talking about a woman and children. He was talking about everybody. He said, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. David said, when he joined the Yashua, he said, my people, your people, my people. Your chariot, my chariot. Your house, my house. Bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. When he anointed him king. He said, what? My enemies will be there in my own household, my own flesh. But get what he said. Get what he said. All day long, right, here we go. Verse 56 and 5. All day long, they injure my cause. Everything I'm trying to do. All their thoughts are against me for evil. Because Yahuwah ain't all in their thoughts. He said, in all their thoughts are against me for evil. They stir up strife, they lurk, they watch my steps. That's all they do. They watch everything I do, trying to devise schemes. That's what they do. And they watch my steps, and they have waited for my life. They want to set you up. They need you to fall. They need people to look at you a different way. He said, they seek for my life. For their crime, will they escape? Will they escape? In wrath, cast down the peoples. Oh, Yahuwah. He said, in all their thoughts. He said, in all their thoughts. In all their thoughts, right? Back to Psalms 10 and 4. Psalms 10 and 4. It says, in the pride of his face, the wicked does not seek him. So that word for pride in Psalms 10 and 4. I think that's Psalms 10 and 4. I think that is, yeah, Psalms. That word for pride in Psalms 10 and 4 is Gabah. That word is Gabah, H1363, Gabah. And that word means what? In their pride, they do what? In their elation and grandeur. How you say it? Their arrogance. How you say it? Their overbearing way, like boasting about themselves, in their arrogance, in their excellency. They excellent in pride. In their excellency, they are excellent in pride. In their haughty. That word for Gabah, it means haughty as well. It makes them height. It makes them taller. You know, as people say they want to be taller. Oh, you mean there were giants in the earth in those days? There were giants. So are you a Nephilim? Are you a Nephilim? He said, in pride. What they do? In height, high, loftiness. They now got higher. He said, are you a Nephilim? In their pride, in their gabah. He said, in their gabah, Psalm 10 and 4, in their gabah, or haughtiness, or height of his face. Like, you ever seen a tall person? And you short? Like, we went to a museum and they saw the tall one they say claimed a 9 feet tall man. And you look at his face. He said, that's pride. But you real up there. In the pride of his face. Usually when people are a little bit taller, they got a lot of pride. A lot of gabah. And get what it says. In their gabah of his face, the wicked does not seek him. Guess what they don't? They so pride and lifted up. Their pride, their gabah, they're so haughty and lifted up in their mind. They don't even seek after. They don't even seek after the hiding place from their trouble in their life. They lost control of themselves. They lost control of who they are. It's a temptation. They lost control of who they are. They lost control of their body. Their pride has now allowed them to lose control. And now their pride is causing them to do things in excessive and use their energy to do something evil. He says all his or her thoughts are, there is no Elohim. He don't see what I'm doing. His ways prosper at all times. That's what they think. That's what they think, right? Think about this. All right, so this is the book of Sirach. I think it's the book of Sirach, chapter 10. Sirach, chapter 10. Let's see. Sirach, chapter 10. And Sirach chapter 10. Sirach chapter 10. Sirach chapter 10, verse 1. It says, a wise judge will instruct his people. He said, what? He said he's going to instruct his people, or Shaphat. Because you know that book in Yukonah chapter 10, Yahushua said, John chapter 10, he said, is it not written in your Torah, says you are Elohim? And if he calls you a God in whom the word of Yahuwah came, he said the scripture cannot be changed. Because in the book of Bereshit chapter 1, he said, behold, the creation, the beginning, the creation of the gods, Bereshit, bara, Elohim, the gods. He said, a wise judge, Hukmah, judge, will instruct his people, and the government of the prudent man will be well ordered. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers, and what manner of man the ruler of the city is. Such are they that dwell therein. An unwise king destroys his people. He said, a king shall reign in righteousness, and judges shall be a hiding place from the wicked. He said, you destroy your people. An unwise king destroys his people. Yahushua is not an unwise king. He is not an unwise Malam. Why do you think I run to him? When all the wicked schemes and things around, you got to run to him. Why? Because he's a king, and he's had 12 shepherd kings. And he said, princes shall reign in righteousness, and they're going to be like a hiding place in the wind. And guess what happens? As the judge of the people is himself, so is his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are they that dwell therein. So what, you see the type of man Yahushua Mashiach is? He kind and compassionate, forgiving sin, transgressions, and iniquities, but he in no wise clearly guilty for a man, woman, or child. And guess what happens? He don't destroy his people. And guess what happens? An unwise king destroys his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. The power of the earth is in his hand of Yahuwah, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable. Right? Verse 6, let's go skip down to verse 6. Bear not hatred to thy neighbor for every wrong. This is what people do. Man, woman, child, they bear so much hatred, they got so much hatred in their heart for every single wrong that somebody does. If you do that, there will never be no type of unity in a household, in a community, and nowhere. For every single wrong? He says what? He says, bear not hatred to thy neighbor for every wrong, and do nothing at all by injurious practices. Like people do things to injure some people. Why? You're trying to hurt them. You're trying to hurt their heart. You're trying to break their heart. You're trying to destroy them. You're trying to make them feel a certain way. You're trying to put them in a certain state of mind. You're trying to create a situation and turn something small and turn it into something big to create something to cause injury to that person, to cause a distraction to that person, to cause that person not to prosper, to lose his mind, to lose his stability, his or her stability. All these are a part of it. All these are a part of it. Verse 7 says, pride or gabah is hateful. Because you know Yahuwah ain't all in your thoughts. Before Yahuwah and man, and by both does one commit iniquity. Oh, you mean you start practicing iniquity. You start pouring streams of iniquity. He said you create iniquity by doing that. By having hatred for every wrong, you create sin. And you practicing things by injurious practice, you create sin. And guess what happens? And it says, by both does one commit iniquity. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit. Because that's the only reason. You know, some people in this world, they use people to get money. They use people to get things, or to get a name for themselves. They use people or manipulate people. Right? You see people do that in the world, both male and female. A con artist who swindle people out of money, extortion. A woman who uses a man to get money or manipulate him to get things for her, to get what they want. Right? All these things are a part of it. Because it's all unjust gain. They got it through deceit. They got it through lying. They got it through cheating. They got it through stealing. And guess what happens? Pride is hateful before Yahuwah and man, and by both does one commit iniquity. Because of the unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches gotten by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. That's the only reason. Everything people do on a day-to-day basis, that's why it's given to another people. Given to another. Taken from you and given to another. Why do you think all these things happen? This is the book of Sirach. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 26. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 26. Chapter 26. So you go to verse. Let's go to verse 13. Verse 13. It says, the con of the grace of a wife delighteth her husband, and in her discretion will fatten his bones. Like, you know how Adam said, this is not bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. She shall be called what? Isha. He said he's going to fatten his bones. What do you mean fatten his bones? A solid and loving woman is a gift of Yahuwah, and there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed. So in order for this woman to be this type of woman, she has to be a well instructed mind, which means that she got a hunger and thirst after righteousness. She got a hunger and thirst for it. And she got to what? Seek after it. And Yahuwah got to be in all her thoughts. Every single minute of every day. That's the only way this type of woman going to be produced. A solid, loving woman is a gift of Yahuwah. And there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed. Which means if their mind is not well instructed, then guess what happens? They're not going to be silent and loving. Because their mind is not well instructed. That's the only reason. If they get instructions in their mind, then they will be well instructed and they will be quiet. And guess what it says? A shamefaced and faithful woman is a double con, and her contentment mind cannot be valued. As the sun when it arises, Because you know, who can hide from the heat? So we talked about how the sun rises in the celestial plane and it come out like a bride train. He said he runs this course with joy. He said, man, who can hide from the heat? In the book of Psalms 19. Man, who can hide from the sun? When the sun come out. It says right here. It says right here It says, the sun, when it arises in the high heavens, so is the beauty of a good wife in the ordering of her house. He said, he's just like the sun, just like when the sun comes out of the portal. He said, she rises, in the book of Proverbs 31, she said, she rises early before the sun rises. He said, man, you just like the sunrise. He said, you just like how the Shamash rise up, right? But it says right here, it says, a solid and loving woman is a gift to Yahuwah, and there is nothing so much as a mind well instructed. A shamefaced and faithful woman is a double con, right? Let's go down. It says, as the sun, verse 16, as it arises in the high Shamayim, so is the beauty of a good wife in the ordering of her house, or ordering of her house, right? As a clear light is upon the Qahalath candlestick, the clear light upon the candlestick, so is the beauty of a face in a ripe age. Of the candlestick. Like we talked about how he gave some pure olive oil, beet olive oil for what? The lamps continually burn. In the book of Leviticus, Yaakov and Shemu, for the tabernacle, that the lamps continue to burn. He said, man, she is like a what? A clear light that is upon the Qahalath candlestick. You take 10 virgins, 5 are wise and 5 are foolish. Because you know what he did? He said he made a tent for the sun. A tent for the sun. And being in that tent, that tent, that lamp that's supposed to be on the inside, it's supposed to be continually burning. And that's a mind well instructed. Why do you think Yahushua was beat in the face? And they took a reed and punched him in the face. Because the olive had to be made with beaten works. He said, a king should reign in righteousness. They said, are you going to kill your king? In the book of Matthew, chapter 26, he said, you going to kill your king? Book of Mark, chapter 13. The book of Yuchanan, chapter 18 and 19, you going to kill your king? You going to kill your Malak? If you be the son of Yahuwah, the king of Yasharal, come down from the cross. If you be, he said he the king of Yehuda. He said that. He said, what I've written. He said that. He the king of Yehuda. Matthew 27. Matthew. He said, you going to kill your king? He says what? And he says, as a clear light is upon the Qahalath candlestick, so is the beauty of a face in a ripe age. Because wisdom makes a person's face to shine. Wisdom makes a man's face to shine. Right, that's good. Right. This is the book of It's the book of Ecclesiastes, Qahalath 8:1. Ecclesiastes 8:1. Who is like the wise? He just said she's going to be wise. He said a wise woman. She's a well-instructed mind. Who is like the wise? Hakma. And who knows the interpretation of a thing? Who knows the interpretation of it? A man's or a woman's wisdom, Hakma, makes his or her face to shine because their lamp continually burns. He said a tent. He prepared a tent for the sun. Because it's a wise virgin, and her lamps continually burning. It has pure olive oil. It's like a candlestick lit. When Asenath came into this, he said, I have 7 virgins. He said, you're going to be 7 pillars in the city of refuge. And guess what they have to have? They're going to be wise. And they're going to be like the sun, like a well-lit candlestick. A man's wisdom makes his face to shine, and the hardness of his face is changed. Right, going back to the book of Sirach. Going back to the book of Sirach. The book of Sirach. The book of Sirach, verse 15. 26:15. 26 and 17, I'm sorry. As the clear light is upon the Qahalath candlestick, so is the beauty of a face in a ripe age. As the golden pillars, are upon the sockets of silver, so are the fair feet with a constant heart. Verse 18, as the golden pillars are upon the sockets of silver, so are the fair feet with a constant heart. A constant heart. Not a sometimes heart, a constant heart. It says, my son, keep the flower of thine age sound, and give not thy strength to strangers. Right, so this is the going down, skipping down to verse 24. It says, a dishonest woman contemneth shame, but an honest woman will reverence her husband. He said, a prideful woman contemneth shame. She brings shame. But a honest woman will reverence her husband. A shameless woman shall be counted as a dog. What do you mean shameless? She can count her as a dog. Why? But she that is shamefaced will fear Yahuwah. She gonna do what? She gonna fear Yahuwah. He said she would be like a dog. He said, why would she be like a dog? Let me show you. A woman that honoreth her husband shall be judged wise of all. But she that dishonoreth him in her pride, gabah, her haughtiness, in her what? In her excellence of being prideful, setting schemes, guess what? In her pride shall be counted unrighteous of all. Because we know pride is what? Pride is what? Pride is what? Pride is what? So this is the book of Qahalath. Actually, Ecclesiastes 10:13. Actually, just go back to Sirach 10:13. Sirach 10 and 9. Sorry, Sirach 10 and 9. Sirach 10 and 9. Sirach 10 and 9 says, where we at? Sirach 10 and 9. I think that's it. Yeah. Sirach 10 and 9. It says, why is the earth and ashes proud? There is no more wicked thing than a covetous man or woman, for such and one setteth his own soul to sale. That's what they do. They sell their soul, because while he liveth, he casteth away his bowels. The physician cutteth off a long disease, and he that is today a king tomorrow shall die. For when a man is dead, he shall inherit creeping things, beasts and worms. Right, verse 12, this is what I want. The beginning of pride is when one departed from Yahuwah. Gabah, haughtiness, excellence, and pride. Lifted up, high, height. He said, man, you departed from Yahuwah. People got so much pride today, so much haughtiness today. He said one instruction, and they turn it from one little seed to a whole big thing. He says what? For pride is the beginning of sin. The beginning. This is how we have our first, you talk about Rashid, on our 49-day count to get to the beginning, to get to Chag Shavuot or Feast of Weeks, you got to count 7 weeks. Guess what? He said that's the beginning of your count. After you weigh the sheep. But guess what the beginning of, you know how we talk about in the beginning? We always talk about the Bereshit. Didn't I say in your Torah, I said you're Elohim? But guess what happens when you're in your pride? For pride is the beginning of sin. So you'll be a God and Elohim and you're a sinner. You're a kata'ah, sinah, a hater of Yahuwah. You become a hater of Yahuwah. And he that hath it shall pour out abominations. That's all you're going to pour out. In your behavior, in your thoughts, in your mind, your conscience, your inner being, your inner man. And you're going to manifest all types of negativity, negative thoughts. Everybody's against me. It's always me. It's always me. It's always them. It's always them. It's never me. It's never me. You have this victim mindset. All these things take over. And you never can say, you know, it's just me. I need to change. And you be, how you say, going around on a wheel. He said, on a circuit, what goes around comes around. You're gonna come right back around, just to show you who you are in the summertime and the wintertime. It says, for pride is the beginning of sin, and he that hath it shall pour out abominations. Just like how we talked about A king shall reign in righteousness, and princes shall flow streams of river. He said, so is the Barbie that goes out of my mouth. He said, he's going to pour out all abominations. What type of abominations is this? And therefore, Yahuwah brought upon them strange calamities and overthrew them utterly. This is the reason why people create the demons in their life, the shadim in their life. Why? Because of all the pride they got on the inside of their heart. People got pride. They can't be humble. They can't be meek and lowly. They can't be quiet. A woman can't obey, or they say a husband asks her to do something very politely and she rebels and act like they don't know what you just said. A man knows he got to be humble and meek and lowly and got to rule with all just and humility and meekness, but in no wise clear the guilty. And then he gets what? He gets so prideful he can't even do it anymore. He don't even want to instruct anymore. He don't even want to teach. People don't even want to hear the word. The whole household out of chaos. Why? Because of pride. Because of pride. That's the reason why nobody, how you say, no unity, all these people who claim to believe. Because it's all pride. It's all pride. Goodbye. Everybody high and lifted up. Everybody want to be giants. He said you need to be brought low. Right? But it says right here, the beginning of pride is when one departed from Yahuwah, and his heart is turned away from his maker. Who making you? Who made you? You made yourself? You did that? He said his maker. Some people made themselves. He said, his maker. And guess what? For pride is the beginning of sin, and he that hath it shall pour out abominations. Verse 13. And therefore Yahuwah hath brought upon them strange calamities and overthrew them utterly. Yahuwah hath cast down the thrones of the proud princes. We just talked about princes flowing out water. He said, a king shall reign in righteousness, and princes shall be like a high praise from the wind, right? But he said they're going to flow out streams of water. But he said they're going to flow out abominations. He said these rulers are going to flow out. What are y'all flowing out? Guess what happens? It says right here. It says Yahuwah hath cast down the thrones of the proud princes and set up the meek. And set up the meek in their stead. You know what people do today? They see a meek, lowly, quiet, humble, meek man, and then people come into their life and try to do things around them to try to create something, to try to make this seem like they're not meek and lowly. They're just angry and mean and all these things. That's what they do. They try to get you out of character. They try to provoke you to anger. That's what they do. They do it on purpose because they don't want you to. Because they know your purpose. They know who you are. And they don't want you to be who you are. That's what they do. Like, I've always been a quiet person. From the time I've been born, they call me Quiet Storm. That's what they call me. My mother called me that. She called me Quiet Storm. Why? Because I was so quiet. Right? But at the same time, when you look at all this, right, it says right here, and it says right here, Yahuwah has cast down the thrones of the proud princes and set up the meek in their stead. Yahuwah hath plucked up the roots of the proud nations, the goyim, and planted the lowly in their place. People say, I want to be put in the place of these people, goyim. You gotta be lowly. You say you want to be in this type of place, in this type of person, you want to be a proud prince. You gotta be meek. And guess what happens? Yahuwah overthrew the countries of the heathen and destroyed them in the fountains of the earth. Why? Because they're haughty. They're high and lifted up. They're like giants. And some of these people who believe, he said, you believe in Mashiach, some of y'all haughty, some of y'all high, some of y'all got heights in your mind, and you feel like you're somebody. But he said, I lift up the lowly. And I said meek people. I put meek and lowly. And why would he put these people in the place of these people? Because these type of people should not be there. And guess what happens? Yahuwah overthrew the country of the heathen and destroyed them in early foundation earth. He took some of them away and destroyed them, and have made their memorial to cease from the earth. Pride was not what? Pride was not made for man, woman, and child. Gabah, haughtiness of heart, height, excellence in pride, arrogance. It was not made for you. So if it was not made for you, Adam, man, woman, and child, nor furious anger for them born of woman. You're not even supposed to be furiously angry. You're not supposed to be that way. And if you are furiously angry and full of pride, and you're not meek and you're not lowly, you have a chance to change your ways. You have a chance to change your thoughts. You have to change who you are. You have and you must change. Let's see why. It said he took some of them away and destroyed them and have made them memorial, right? It said pride, verse 18, pride was not made for man, and furious anger was not made for them that are born of woman. They fear you. He says, they that fear Yahuwah are a sure seed, and they that love him an honorable plant. And they that regard not the Torah, the law, are a dishonorable seed. So people want to know why. Because they disregard. He says what? They disregard the Torah. They don't want the good seed. They don't want seed to sow. Giving bread to the eater and seed to the sower. You know what people want to sow? We're going to talk about it. They that transgress the commandments are a deceivable seed. Why do you think all these people deceive people? They're deceivable. They transgress the commandment. Why? They're deceivable. These people are deceivable. They say they're simple-minded, pati. They arrogant. They mouth at. They don't like the truth. They don't like the truth. Right? And it says, it's verse 19 it says, and they that fear Yahuwah are a sure seed, and they that love him are an honorable plant. That they regard not the Torah, they that regard not the Torah are a dishonorable seed, and they that transgress the commandment are a deceivable seed. See, they deceivable, right? So this is the book of Bereshit chapter 1. He said, what? Pride is the what? Pride is the what? Bereshit chapter 1, verse 1. It says, Bereshit chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, Bereshit, bara, Elohim, It says, in the beginning, Elohim created the Shamaim and earth. Because in the beginning, pride was not made from man. Elohim created the Shamaim and earth was without form and void, and darkness over the face of the deep. And the Ruach was Maraka al-Panim, hovering on the face of the waters. And Elohim said, let there be light. Because pride and arrogance pride was not made from men. And you know, fear is anger. He said, why? Why would he say that? Because it was not made for you. It never was. For man, woman, child, husband, wife, family, is not. Right? It's not made for you. This Bereshit chapter 1, verse 28, 26. And it says what? And Elohim said, let us make Adam in our image and our likeness, because pride and furious anger was not made for you. It never was. Gabah is the reason why. Pride. This is why people get dishonored. This is why people ruin people's reputation. This is why people slander people. This is why people gossip about people. This is why people do these things to people. Whether man, woman, or child. Why? Because they have pride. Oh, they're going to get you on camera. You better fear the cameras. Fear the people. Fear these things. Fear what man's going to say about you. Fear what people are going to do to you. Right? There's some things you do fear. But Yahuwah said, let me show you what Yahuwah said. But he said, I never created man in that. I created my image and likeness. Why? Because he said, they that fear Yahuwah, they are sure seed. They are sure seed. Why would they do that? They said, man, you're a sure seed. Right, this is Matthew 10:28. 10:27. What I tell you in the dark, say in the light. Man, the light lit right here. It says what? And what you hear whispered, proclaim on the housetops. What? What you hear whispered, a still small voice. He said, what you hear whispered, proclaim on the housetops. And do not fear those who kill the body. Guess what they do? I'm going to do this. I'm going to call it. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. They want you to fear other things besides the one in the highest Shamaim. Because in their thoughts, because remember, pride is what? In their pride, they don't honor Yahuwah, and he is not in all their thoughts. And we just read in the book of Psalms. He said they're not in all his thoughts in Psalms 56. In all their thoughts. He says, do not fear those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. You can't kill my defarge. That's why Barak are they who hunger and thirst after pouring Ruach. You can't kill my soul. You can destroy the property that I have or things that I own and take retirement accounts and money and things and all my possessions. Shoot, you may be able to take my car. You may be able to put me homeless on the street, throw me in jail, put me incarcerated. You may be able to do things, be framed, or somebody come up with some false story and put me out, restraining orders and all these things, and take your children away and destroy everything I have. You could do it on every side. But he said that Yahuwah sees the time of trouble. David said, why you hide yourself, Yahuwah, in the time of trouble? The same way whatsoever I see the Father do, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to hide in your word. Because when all these things happen, the bar. Go run to the bar. Anytime these things start happening in your life, run to the word. Run to the bar. Run. Go hide. It's just like a storm. Just like a hiding place in the storm. It's just like a hiding place in the wind. Run. When people start slandering you, people start talking about you, people start doing these things, run to the word. Run to the bar. Don't run to those people. Don't run to them. Don't mess with their quarrel in their own mind. Because you taking a dog by You taking a dog by its ears. Because he said a shamefaced woman is becoming a dog. You're gonna be running to a dog. You're gonna be taking a dog by its ears. And guess what? You have some men that are dogs too. Literally. And then you have women that are dogs. Literally. They are dogs. They act like dogs. But it said right here, and do not fear those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Rather, fear him who can destroy both soul and body in Sheol, in hell. Why would you fear what people can do you on earth? Man, they can do whatever they want. They got voice recognition, facial recognition. They can change your voice. They can put your name on an email. They can send you a text. They can do whatever they want. They can create a whole situation, call the police on you, frame you. They can do a whole bunch of things in this world. They can put out false information. Man, people can do a whole bunch of stuff in this world. Men, women, and children. You see women do it to men. You see men doing it to women. But you see mostly women doing it to men. Then you see children doing it to their parents. Man, you can do a whole bunch of stuff. People doing it to people. Politicians doing it to politicians. The pastors doing it to pastors. Teachers doing it to teachers. Brothers doing it to brothers. Sisters doing it to sisters. Officer doing it to officer. Teacher doing it to teacher. Man, it's all over the place. Mother against mother. Husbands against fathers. Husbands against wives, wives against husbands. It's everywhere. They can create a whole world. But he said what? Why would you fear all of that? It says, who can destroy body and soul in Sheol? Are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny? And not one of them will fall to the ground apart from your Father? They all going back to the dust. But guess what it says? But even the hairs of your head are all numbered. Fear not, therefore, you are more valuable. You have more value than many sparrows. So everyone who acknowledges me before men, I also will acknowledge before my Father who is in Shamayim. That means your actions, your reactions, and how you operate. The meek and the lowly in society, in the world. So is it meek and lowly to quarrel and fight in the street corner? Is it meek in the street corner, in your backyard, in your house? Is it meek and lowly to destroy people's in public or do things like? Is it meek and lowly to do these things? Is it righteous and pure, or is it pride and arrogance and haughtiness and framing people? It says, but even the hairs of your head are all numbered. Fear not, therefore, you are more valuable than many sparrows. So everyone who acknowledges me before men, I also will acknowledge before my Father who is in Shamayim. But whosoever denies me before men, women, and children, I also will deny you before my Father who is in Shamayim. You know how many people deny him? Many men, women, and children, in their actions and what they do and what they say. They deny him. Even though they say they believe in him, but they don't apply any of the truth to their life. They don't listen, they understand it, but they will not apply it. Because that, you know what application does? It brings them to a point of repentance. Because, you know, a haughty heart is something Satan all loves, right? So this is the testament. Let's go here. We almost finished. This is the testament of Gad, or God. Testament of Gad. This is Pseudepigrapha. Pseudepigrapha, Volume 1. Pseudepigrapha, Volume 1. Testament of Gad, Pseudepigrapha, Volume 1, verse 3. Testament of Pseudepigrapha, 12 Patriarchs. Testament of 12 Patriarchs, Testament of Gad, chapter 3, verse 1. And now, children, listen to the words of truth, to perform justice in every law of the Most High, of the Torah, not to be led astray by the spirit of hatred. He said the spirit of ruach of hatred. What happens when you got hatred? Because it is evil beyond all human deeds. Beyond all human deeds. Now this is super graphic version. Or you met many other versions before, but we're gonna read this one. It says, whatever anyone does, he who hates is revolted. Man, they rebel. Anything they see, they rebel. If he or she fears Yahuwah and hopes for good things, the hater has no love for him or her. You hate. If you're looking for good things and this person see it, man, the hater ain't gonna have no love for you. They ain't gonna have no love for you. They're gonna treat you, mistreat you. They're gonna be saying, you think you this, you think you that. They're gonna be saying all type of things. They ain't even gonna show no love. You're hoping for good things. You're hoping for a better future. You're hoping for a greater life. Guess what the hater does? The hater does what? The hater has no love for you. They ain't even gonna love you for it. Why they not gonna love you? If he fears Yahuwah and hopes for good things, the hater is not gonna have no love for him. The hater disparages truth, and then they cast it away. Any truth that's spoken, they cast it away. It envies the successful person. That's what it does. Why you think women in America or any other countries, they see a man prosper and they marry to him, they get jealous and envy, and then they divorce him and take him for everything he got. Because they envy everything he has, everything he's accomplished. They take him for everything he got, take all his money, and then guess what? They go to accomplish something, and then when he's poor and broke, they come back to him and say, look at you and look at me. Because that's envy. It's called envy. And guess what happens? Envy is a successful person. So if you have successes in the world, and if you have a lot of success, and you with somebody, beware. 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 Guess what it says? It relishes slander. That's what they're going to do. They're going to try to ruin your reputation, saying words maliciously to ruin your reputation out in the world. Because you're a successful person. They're going to slander you. And guess what happens? Because Satan ain't coming after people who ain't doing nothing. He only uses people who ain't doing nothing. He slanders, loves arrogance. That's gabah, pride. The spirit of hatred loves pride. That's why people who have it have a lot of, hate. They have a lot of hate in their heart. They have a lot of negative thoughts. They have a lot of hatred. They got to create some type of hatred through their pride in order for them to be satisfied on the inside. And it says what? It says, and fears, guess what it says? Revolted. If he fears Yahuwah and hopes for good things, the hater has no love for him. The hater despises truth, envies the successful person, relishes slander, loves arrogance, because hatred blinds his soul. He said, fear not Yahuwah, fear not man who can destroy body and soul, but fear Yahuwah who can cast body and soul and cast it in. Fear not man who can destroy the body, but fear Yahuwah who can destroy the soul and cast it in the lake of fire. So they said, it blinds your soul. So if you have this, have you read the book of Turah? He talked about Yahuwah hates the prideful princes. He casts them down and puts the meek in their place. He takes the lowly and he puts them up. Matter of fact, he don't put these type of people in. He said a woman in her pride will dishonor her husband, which means that she don't fear Yahuwah who can destroy the soul. Because all in their thoughts, we just read in the book of Psalms 13 and 56. Psalms 13, chapter 13 and chapter 56, he talk about in their thoughts, in their makashba, they don't think that Elohim see them. Their pride, their gabah has blinded their soul. Your soul is blinded. Your nefash is blind. But Yahushua said, I come to open the blind eyes to you that you are blind and you have pride, that you can repent. You can shoot. You don't have to be prideful. You can be loving and compassionate, meek and lowly. You don't have to be prideful anymore. You don't have to have arrogance and pride. You don't have to be a hater. You don't have to be relish slander because you see your person prospering and he has success, or he or she or your husband has success. You say, I don't want to help him. Heck, I don't want nothing to do with him. But because you don't have it in your pocket, you don't have it in your ability, so you just hate. You got slander. Right? People see a successful individual, man or woman, and guess what? They automatically want to slander them. Why? Because it's a part of the seeds that's been sown. Because some of the very same people who are successful sowed some seeds of hatred in some other people, and they haven't yet defeated those seeds, and then they now become successful, and the only thing that people are thinking about are those seeds you sowed in their mind. And why are you so successful? And you said those things, you did these things to me, you did all this stuff, and you took everything I had, you destroyed my life, and now I don't have anything, and now you're successful, and they still dealing with the seeds that you sown. So what does the successful person have to do? How you say, be meek and lowly and go apologize to those people. Man, woman, or child. That's the only way you even it out. Equal, so they can be successful too within. Or you gonna allow them, you wanna keep them blind in their soul? I thought Yahushua came to open the blind eyes. Man, woman, or child. So if a man has hatred for you, why don't you, he said, a man has hatred for you, pride, let's see what happens. A woman has hatred for you, let's see. It says, envy is successful person, relishes slander, loves arrogance, because hatred blinds his soul. It was in this way I regarded Yusuf. That's what God is confessing. Successful people. And when Yusuf had those dreams and he was starting to have all these powers, but the other tribes ain't like it. And guess what happened? Verse 4 says, beware, my children, of those who hate, because it leads to lawlessness against the Yahuwah himself. They start raging against you. They start talking against him. Lawlessness against Yahuwah himself. You be saying, why things are not functioning? He said it's going to lead to lawlessness. And guess what happens? Hatred does not want to hear repeated his commands concerning love of your neighbor. Why do you think they do that? That's what pride and arrogance do. And guess what it says? It don't want to hear repeated, and thus it sins against Yahuwah. Why do you think people are evil to other people? Why do you think people create things and turn small things great? Why do you think they create the sin through their pride and arrogance? They create it because they don't want to repent. But repentance, he said, Yahushua came to open the blind eyes, because I've come to open your eyes to the pride, that you may repent and return back and do your inner work. Your inner being, your inner thoughts, and your inner mind. But it says right here, beware, my children, of those who hate, because it leads to lawlessness against Yahuwah himself. Hatred does not want to hear repeated the commands concerning love thy neighbor, and thus it sins against Yahuwah. For if a brother makes a false step, immediately it wants to spread the tale to everyone. That's what it does. Because he said you don't want to have hatred for every single wrong. You don't want to have no pride and hatred for every wrong. It's, man, you quick to want to put this stuff out. Man, you think, man, that thing you slipped that one time, that little bit, ha ha, what you doing? What you gonna do that for? Ha ha ha, right? All these things they create. Because remember, it's a craving. Right, we're almost finished. It says, love your neighbor, and it says, and thus it sins against Yahuwah. For if a brother or sister makes a false step, immediately it wants to spread the tale to everyone, and is eager to have him condemned for it, punished and executed. That's what they want. If the hater is a slave or a servant, he or she conspires against his master. Just like you saw Abraham was the master of his house, and Sarah called him master, Adam. Sarah didn't conspire against Abraham in his house. So why are the women doing it today? Why are you conspiring evil against your husband? Why are you conspiring evil against him? Why? Why would you do that? Because hatred is blinding your soul. They say, man, you want to proclaim it to everybody. As soon as he do something wrong, you want to go put it out in the street. You want everybody to know. I need to get this on camera. I need to get this, right? That's what people do. But guess what it says? That's what people do in this world. That's why they pull out their camera phones today. Like, it's a cruel world now. Man, people cruel. People are really cruel, boy. And it says right here, for if a brother makes a false step, immediately he wants to spread it to tell everyone, and is eager to have him condemned for it, punished and executed. If the hater is a slave servant, he or she conspires against his master. And whenever difficulty arises, it plots how he might be killed. So when trouble and anguish and the temptation come, this hatred on the inside of these individuals around you, they want to get you, it says kill, that you might be killed. Isn't that what we just read in Yahuwah said? Don't fear man what they can do. Fear me, that can destroy body and soul. So don't you have no hatred against them. Even though they want to plot and take you down. Guess what it said? It says hatred collaborates with envy. Why do you think envy? It collaborates with envy when it sees or hears about the prosperity of those who do well. He said they done found out, they done researched, they done seen it. And now they envy and jealous of you. And guess what happens? It is perpetually peevish. Just as love wants to bring the dead back to life, to recall those under sentence to death, so hate wants to kill the living and does not wish to preserve alive those who have committed the slightest sin. The slightest sin. You don't even want, man, they want to destroy you. But Yahuwah says, my yoke is easy. My burden is light. He said, man, it's the slightest sin. For among all men, the spirit of hatred works by Satan, Satan, through human frailty, through human weakness. Through human weakness. Right? And guess what it says? For the death of mankind. But the Ruach of love works by the Torah of Yahuwah, through forbearance and the salvation of mankind. Through the salvation of mankind. Right? Through the salvation of mankind. So this is the book of Mark, or Matthew 27. We almost finished. 27:15. Now at the feast, the governor was accustomed to release for the crowd any one prisoner whom they wanted. And they had then a notorious prisoner called Barabbas. So that when he had gathered, Pilate said to them, whom do you want me to release to you, Barabbas or Yahushua, who is called Mashiach? For he knew that it was for envy that they had delivered him up. Even for the slightest sin, they want to kill you. Even for the thing that they think in their mind, the little smallest thing, they want to destroy you. They want to proclaim it to everybody. Right? They want to proclaim it to everybody. Right? This Matthew, they said, man, they want to proclaim it to everybody. Right? Everything they did, right? This is the book of, same book, Matthew 27. 36, it says, then they sat down and kept watch over him. Right? David said, man, they watch my steps. They trying to see if I stumble. And they watch everything I do. It says, then they sat down and kept watch over him there. And over his head, they put the charge against him, which read, this is Yahushua, the Malach of Yahudim. They try to say he was a liar. The two robbers who were crucified with him, one on the right and one on the left, and those who passed by derided him, wagging their heads, saying, you who will destroy the temple and rebuild it in 3 days, save yourself. If you be the son of Yahuwah, come down from the cross. Because that's what they want you to do. Because I done ran into my high place in the wind. He said, king is trying to reign in righteousness, and the prince shall be at a high place in the wind. He said, man, come to you and drink. You ain't got no money to eat. You ain't got, without purchase. He's like, man, I'm gonna run up under the pavilion. He said, man, gonna be like a pavilion, a hiding place from the tempest. Like a rock in the shade from the sun in a weary land, right? Guess what it says? It says right here, it says, you who would destroy the temple and build it 3 days, save yourself. If you are the son of Yahuwah, come down from the cross. So the chief priests with the scribes and the elders mocked him. This is just like any other envy and jealousy and spirit of hatred and pride and arrogance, Gabah. But guess what? Here's this man, he Gabah, high and lifted up. How you say Gabah meant what? Meant pride, haughty, heights. Why do you think he's sitting up? They sat down, they watched him. He was lifted up above the people. He said, if the son of Adam be lifted up, man will be lifted up, I'll be drawing men to me. Why? Because, why do you think he's being lifted up in pride? Because of your pride. Why do you think he's on the cross, high and lifted up above the people? Because of pride. Because of pride. And guess what it says right here? It says, so also the chief priests with the scribes and the elders mocked him, saying, he said to others he cannot save himself. He the Malach of Yasharah, let him come down from the cross. Totality. And we will believe in him. He trusted in Elohim, let Elohim deliver him now if he desires him. For he said, I am the son of Yahuwah. And the robbers who were crucified with him also reviled in the same way. He said, they all did it too. He said, why would you be lifted all the way up over these people? He said, in pride. Right? All these pride, right? So this is the book of so this is the book of Job. Book of Job 22:22. Receive instruction from his mouth and lay up his words in your heart, because it comes just like rain and snow. Doesn't it irritate the word of the palate of the food? Lay it up in your heart. If you return to the Chdsh, you will be built up. If you remove injustice far from your tent, injustice, improperly judging yourself, shafat, inwardly, if you remove injustice from your tents, because he said he prepared a tent for the sun. He prepared a tent for the sun. If you remove injustice from your tent, if you lay gold in the dust and gold Ophir among the stones of the torrent, then the Chdsh will be your gold and your precious silver. Because we just read about how they seek after all these things, after all of the gain of the world, and guess what? They empty on the inside. He said, man, you can get all this for free. Come and drink for free. Eat this food for free. Get this water for free. Get this seed for free. Sow it in the ground for free. And guess what happened? You'll be free. Within yourself. And it says right here, if you remove injustice far from your tents, if you lay up gold in the dust and the Ophir among the stones in the torrent, then Yahuwah will be your gold and your precious silver. Guess what? It's going to be more valuable to you. He said, you're more valuable than many sparrows. For then you will delight yourself in the Almighty Chdsh, and he will lift up your face to Yahuwah, and you will make your prayer to him, and he will hear you. And you will pay your vows, and you will decide on many matters, and it will be established for you, and the light will shine on your ways. And what happened to, he said, a woman, a virtuous, he said, a wise woman, her face is going to be like what? Like a candlestick lit. His light will shine on your ways. What light shines on the whole earth? Man, you be like the sun. He going to shine on your ways, because nobody can hide from your heat. Why he going to shine on your ways? Because when you come to the sun, nobody can hide from the heat. He said they hate the light. They won't come to the light, lest their deeds should be reproved. Why? Because the sun going to shine on all their deeds. Verse 29 says, for when they are humbled, you say it is because of pride. But he saves what? He saves the lowly. He sets the lowly up. He saves the lowly. He delivers even the one who is not innocent. Because you know, the spirit of hatred, when somebody even commits the smallest thing, slight sin, guess what they do? They want to destroy you and kill you. They want to destroy your life. It says, he delivers even the one who is not innocent. Who will be delivered through the cleanness of your hands? He even delivered the one who ain't innocent. Who ain't even innocent, right? All right, so this is the book of Proverbs. This is the book of Proverbs 29:23. One's pride will bring him low. Eventually. His your arrogance, your pride, your haughtiness, your height, and your mind. He said, eventually you're going to come down. It's going to bring you low. But he who is lowly in Ruach will obtain honor. He said, you will obtain honor. You will obtain it. Right. It says, this is the book of so this is the book of going to, I think it's Matthew. This is Yuchanan, John chapter 19. Yuchanan, John chapter 19, verse 1. Yuchanan, John chapter 19, verse 1. It says, and then Pilate took Yahusha and flogged him. That's why the olive oil had to be made with beaten works for the lamp. And the soldiers twisted together a crown of thorns and put it on his head and arrayed him in a purple robe. And it says, and they came unto him, saying, Hail, Malach of the Yahudim, and struck him with their hands. And guess what it says? And Pilate went out again and said, See, I am bringing him out to you, that you may know that I find no guilt in him, because he's innocent. He's an innocent man. But when you got the spirit of hatred on the inside, nobody innocent. Only you. You're the only person that's innocent. You got arrogance and pride, goodbye. Everybody else is not innocent except you. Right? It says, and Pilate went out again and said to them, See, I am bringing him out to you, that you may know that I find no guilt in him. So Yahusha came out wearing a crown of thorns and a purple robe. And Pilate said to him, Behold the man. When the chief priests and the officers saw him, they cried out, Crucify him, crucify him. Pilate said to them, Take him for yourselves and crucify him, for I find no guilt in him. And the Yahudim answered, We have in a law, and according to the law, he ought to die, because he has made himself the son of Yahuwah. Because you know why they say he had to die? Because the spirit of hatred, when they feel like you committed even the slightest sin, they want to kill you. They conspired against him. The chief priests, because when difficulty arises in the pseudepigrapha, what did it say? It said what? It plots that he might be killed. That's why he said, man, Yahuwah leave a way to escape in the temptation. They're always plotting. And it says, then Pilate flogged, and the soldiers twisted the crown of thorns on him. Right? Go on to verse 7. The Yahudim answered, We have no law, and according to the law, he ought to die, because he has made himself the son of Yahuwah. He said he made himself somebody. Who you think you are? Then when Pilate heard this statement, he was even more afraid. Because you need to fear him who can destroy body and soul. Because he ain't got the spirit of hatred on the inside of his body. And it ain't blind his soul. And he can see. He like, hey, let me ask you a question. He entered into his court and said to Yahusha, where are you from? And Yahusha gave him no answer. And Pilate said to him, You will not speak to me? Do you not know I have authority to release and authority to crucify you? Yahusha answered, You would have no authority over me unless it had been given to you from above. Right? So this is the book of Yuchanan 19:28. And after this, John 19:28. And after this, Yahusha, knowing that all was now finished, said, to fulfill the scripture, I thirst. Because Barak are they who hunger and thirst after righteousness. Barak are the poor in Ruach. Barak are the pure in heart, for they shall see Yahuwah. What do you think he was thirsting for? Something to drink? No, his soul was thirsting for Yahuwah. As a deer pants by the water, so my soul thirsts for you. He wasn't thirsting for no water. He wasn't thirsting for no sour wine. But he had to fulfill the scripture. But it said a jar of sour wine stood there. And they put a sponge and full of sour wine and hyssop and branch, and he held it to his mouth. And when Yahusha had received the sour wine, and he said, what do you mean, the little bit of sin? Like you see, in the book of Pseudepigrapha, Testament of Gad, chapter 4, verse 7, it says, For among all men, the spirit of hatred works by Satan through human frailty for the death of mankind. What do you think Yahusha done right here? It's for the death of mankind. But the spirit of love works together with the law of Yahuwah through the forbearance and the salvation of mankind. This is for the death of mankind and the salvation of mankind. But what's going to happen? Right? So hate, so we go to verse 6, it says, So hate wants to kill the living and does not wish to preserve alive those who have committed even the slightest sin. Why do you think he's drinking this little bit of wine? That's a little tiny piece. It's a little tiny little piece. And it says a hyssop branch, and he held it to his mouth. It's a hyssop branch. Man, it's a little slight. That little bit that he takes. The little leaven. Guess what happened? When Yahusha had received the sour wine, he said, It is finished. Because But they ain't want to preserve him alive. Man, even the person that commits the slightest sin, even a little bit. You taste that little bit of wine, that sour wine. And he bowed his head and gave up the ruach. Gave up the ruach. Right, so this is Jeremiah chapter 4. Jeremiah chapter 4, verse 21. How long, 4 verse 21. Jeremiah 4:21. How long must I see the standard and hear the sound of Turah? For my people are foolish. They know me not. Because Yahuwah ain't in all their thoughts. They don't think that they don't know Yahuwah in all their thoughts. They are stupid children. Stupid children. This is the ESV. They are stupid children. They have no understanding. No bina hakmadah. They are wise in doing evil. People, he said, man, they create evil stuff. They wise at it. It's not a wise to do what? To allow, like the woman we read in the book of Sirach 26. It says her candle, she said her wise woman's face, just like a candlestick. Just like a candlestick. He said, man, they ain't wise like that. They evil. They wise in doing evil. Because the lamp of the wicked going to be put out. He going to put it out. They wise in doing evil. But how to do good, they don't know how to do good. Only thing they know is hatred. The only thing they know is hatred. That's all they know. But Yahushua said, I have come that you might have life. Right? That's what it says right here. This is, you don't have to be these type of people. You don't even have to be the type of person anymore. But some people want to continue to be that type of person. And you're only wasting your life. You're only wasting your time here. You're only wasting your time. You're only wasting your time. So this is the book of Matthew 11:27. It says, all things have been handed over me from my Father, Ab, and no one knows the Son except the Father. And no one knows the Father except the Son, and anyone to whom the Son chooses to reveal him. He said, many are called, but few are chosen. Come to me, all who are labor and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Some people ain't at rest. Some people ain't at rest. Even though they may have, this is a day of rest. How you say, this is Shabbat. But some people are so tormented in their mind, they got the spirit of hatred on the inside, they can't let loose, they can't let go of Satan. Satan. But Yahushua said, I come that you might have life. He said, I came to bear the soul, I came to die for all the slightest sins, for the death of mankind and for the salvation of mankind. I came to destroy the spirit of hatred. I came to establish the meek and the lowly, and those who fear me, and those who are at heart, I say, shamar my commandments. I came to set you free. I came to set you free. It says, come unto me, all that who are labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me. Learn. For what? For I am meek, gentle, and lowly in heart. Because he's going to establish the lowly. And he's going to cast down the princes of pride and set the meek in their place. And get what it says. And you will find rest for your souls. It's time to Shabbat. From all jealousy, envy, pride, hatred, resentment, bitterness, envy, gabah, haughtiness, arrogance. Man, it's time that you can Shabbat from that. You can cease from it. That's what Shabbat means. It means to cease, to stop. You need to Shabbat these behaviors. You need to cease from them. And here's what it says. For I am gentle and lowly, and you will get rest for your souls. People ain't say, why we have rest for your soul? Because the spirit of hatred is no longer blinding your souls anymore. the spirit of hatred is blinding your soul, even though it's Shabbat, you have no rest. You have no rest with that. It says, for my yoke is easy, and my burden is light. He said, my burden is light. Right, so this is the last book. This is the Nazarene Acts of the Shalakim, recognitions of Clement. This is chapter 15, how demons get power over men, women, and children. Therefore, demons, as we have just said, when once they have been able, by means of opportunities afforded them to convey themselves through base and evil actions in the bodies of men, women, and children, if they remain in them a long time through their own negligence, because they do not seek after what is profitable for their inner beings. Barak are they Barak are they poor in ruach. Barak are they who hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. They do not seek after what is profitable for what? Their inner beings. Their necessity compel them for the future to fulfill the desires of the demons who dwell inside of them. You're part of Satan's army. Satan's legion. And you work together with them. But guess what happens? Guess what? But what is worst of all, at the end of the age, when the demon will be co-signed to Ayah's fire, of necessity, the Ruach also that obeyed him will be with him in tortures Ayah's fire together with his body it has polluted. Right, going to verse chapter 16. Now, it says, when the demons wish to possess men. Now the demons are desirous to occupy the bodies of men, women, and children. This is the reason. They are spirits, bearing their purpose, turned to immorality. Therefore, by immoderate eating and drinking and lust, they urge men on to sin, but only those who entertain the purpose of sin, who, while they seem simply desirous of satisfying the necessary cravings of nature, giving opportunity to the demons to enter them, because through excess they do not maintain moderation. For as long as the measure of nature is kept, the legitimate moderation is preserved. The mercy of Yahuwah does not give them liberty to enter into men. But when either the mind falls into impiety or the body is filled with immoderate meat or drink, then, if invited by the will and purpose of those who thus neglect themselves, they receive power as against those who have broken Torah imposed by Yahuwah. Right, so this is the